Welcome to the Life Begins at Midlife podcast, where we pop the champagne to celebrate the unexplored joys and endless adventures that await us in the midlife. Flipping the script on what it means to hit those fabulous 40s, 50s and beyond. Because here, we don't believe in midlife crises, only midlife revolutions. Reminding you that the only thing we're letting go of at midlife is the notion that it's all downhill from here. Nope, we're here to climb higher, dream bigger, and laugh louder. Each week, we'll dive into the myths, share the truths, and unlock the secrets to making the midlife years your best years yet. From rediscovering lost passions to embarking on new adventures, we're covering it all. Expect candid conversations with inspiring guests who've turned their midlife years into their most dynamic chapter yet. We're talking to everyone from entrepreneurs who've launched successful startups from their kitchen tables to adventurers who decided age is just a number when it comes to climbing mountains or sailing the seas. So if you've ever found yourself pondering, is this all there is? Or you're just eager to embrace the richness of midlife with both arms wide open, then you, my friend, are in the right place. Grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's show the world that life doesn't just begin at 20, it begins again at midlife. And remember, in the Life Begins at Midlife podcast, the only rule is to live confidently, love unconditionally, and laugh uncontrollably. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Life Begins at Midlife. Today we've got Victoria Spencer in the studio, and I'd like you to give her a warm welcome. Hello, Victoria. Would you like to spend a little bit of time introducing yourself to the guests?
Hi, Jackie. Thank you. It's lovely to be here. So, as you know, my name's Victoria Nieve Spencer, and I'm a transformational specialist. And I work with women, midlife women, helping them to speak up, be heard, be seen for who they are, be courageous, and to move forward and live out those desires, those aspirations that are hidden within you. You know, the ones that keep popping up and you feel, oh gosh, that would be really nice. But then you have that fear attached to it. So I help women to transition through and get rid of all those limited beliefs so that they can move forward and live that life that they really, truly desire.
Wow, that sounds really like a very rewarding thing to be doing, because I think there are so many women out there that have become stuck in a situation that they might not feel, they're completely happy in, but they don't quite know what to do next to get themselves out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, when I think back to, the change, the moment when things changed for me, that's almost catalyst was my divorce. Um, it was very difficult for me to become and step into that woman that I was really desiring to be in that relationship. And not that there's any blame there, but it was really he had his role and I had my role. And when you're both busy, it's very difficult for change to take place. So I knew that something had to happen. And even though it was a really difficult decision to make and it was extremely challenging to transition through, then that's when the divorce, separation, everything changed. It was almost like lifting the lid off and allowing me to be that person, to step out. So if anybody's watching and you're going through, sort of midlife changes like this, it could be a relationship breakdown, it might be divorce, then there's always something magical at the end of that for you. There's a sticky middle that we have to move through, but there's always something incredible for you. And that's what I was experiencing.
I think it's also trusting that, when things aren't right and it doesn't feel right and you're feeling uncomfortable, that's a sign for you to look at things and say, right, this is not serving me anymore. It doesn't mean that you've made a mistake, or that if the person that you're with is a horrible person. I mean, sometimes that might be the case, but sometimes you've just outgrown each other in the sense that you might have gotten together when you were quite young, or at a different stage in your life, and once you've had children, you as a woman tend to grow quite a bit, because you're learning to be a mum and you're growing with your children, and it's a different kind of growth to what you were before you you had the kids. And
Yeah,
the guy, he doesn't tend to have that because he's still going to work, he's still doing his normal thing. He's
absolutely.
still got a bit of time with the kids, but it's not that caregiver role that makes
Yeah,
us grow into a different version of ourselves.
absolutely. And that was exactly what you described.
Mm.
What that happened to me. We've been together from school. It was very young, you know. So, and it was my role to be the mum, to work part time, to be there at all the school sport days and school trips and, all the events where he was busy working. So it was my role to be that mum that was showing up constantly. But at that time, that was what I really wanted to do. I had no desires to run a business. I had no desires to change the way I was living because I loved that role. I wanted to be the mum that could show up and be there and be present. So it felt perfect for me at the time. But it wasn't until the children started to grow up where your role becomes lesser. You're not needed as much. And then you've more time with your partner, your husband, and you're both changing. You're probably going through a lot of changes and not recognizing them because you're so busy, him with the work, you with the children. And yeah, it was just, I'd wake up in the morning and feel that emptiness, that there was something that I was desiring that I couldn't. And it wasn't really obvious to start with what it was. I just knew that I had to there's something really powerful within me that I wanted to do, but I wasn't aware of what that was until I started to really allow that to surface and allow myself. So I give myself permission, I guess, to explore that rather than keep pushing it down, which is what I'd done sort of previously for the sort of 2 years build up to the separation. So you have to be a bit courageous sometimes, and that's very vulnerable. And you're not really sure what the outcome's going to be, but when it feels there's something there for you, you have to move and take those steps. Otherwise, you'll stay where you are, and then you'll look back another 20 years and wonder what could have been or what if. And I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be that person. Yeah. So,
The thing is, there's always that fear of what would everybody else think,
oh my
the whole
gosh, absolutely.
society that, you
Yeah.
should stay in it for the sake of your children.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I realized that by staying in a relationship that wasn't ideal was not setting a good example for my children because
No.
they model what they see. And I would
Yeah.
rather have given them, a fresh perspective to say, this is not working. So what can mum do to make it
Yeah.
work in
Yeah.
either the marriage or, in a different situation?
Yeah.
And, I think a lot of people said to me as well, oh, don't be silly, you should stick it out for the kids until they're 18. And I said to them, that's not doing the children any good.
No, totally agree with you. And that was I think we've got a very similar story here because I remember getting to that point where my eldest was ready to sit his exams and they were really important. And people would be saying to me, wait till they've left school, wait till they do. And I had it in my mind that, okay, I'll keep going, I'll keep settling, I'll keep putting up with, and I'll accept it. And my time will come. But when there's something within you that you just can't ignore. I remember the day very clear. I remember ringing a friend just saying, that's it. I can't, I've got to, it has to happen now. And it was in that midst of the kids going through, quite important things at school. But like you as well, it was that open dialogue with them, communicating with them. How can we make this better? And I think that's really important rather than keeping things really, to yourself, but saying, how can I make this better for us all? What would you want me to do? And it was really clear to them that they totally understood. Didn't make the process any easier, but they was on board and understood what was going on. And a lot of people will be saying to me, like you, how can you walk away from what you've got? How can you leave that gorgeous, beautiful house that you've got? Bricks and mortar. That's all it is. How can all those wonderful holidays and things. But you've got to when you are in it, all of that doesn't mean anything.
No.
because you can have that anyway. It's how you feel, and you have to honour that. And I had to honour who I was. I thought, no. And I didn't realise what was on the other side of all this for me until I started to take that action and move. And I did have a lot of support. And yes, there were people that, friendships that did move away. And then there were new friendships, which were incredible, really supportive. And then all amazing opportunities started to pop up for me, and I started to realise I want to work. I want to run my own business. I want to share my story. I want to help women that are experiencing what I've gone through, or what I've been through, at the time, what they're experiencing, to help them move through that. I want to give back. I want to. So there was so much going on. It started to get extremely exciting, and then once I started to move with it, oh wow, it was incredible. Yeah.
But they always say the hardest step is that first step where you
Yes.
step over and just say, I'm not tolerating this anymore. This is it. And I'm not quite sure what's going to come ahead, but you don't need to. Another one so you don't need to see the whole flight of stairs. You just need to see.
No, you don't.
But it's scary because when you come from that space of familiarity, of predictability, of this house, the bills always being paid, you've got the holidays, you've got everything sorted, and you step out of that, and it's the unknown.
It is.
But it can be so exciting as well, because you are in charge of creating what you want, the way you want it. And you're not having to ask that permission all the time from somebody else.
Yeah. And that, again, was my situation. It was always, can I have, can I do, can I, it's coming from that perspective, not from me going, it being sort of that empowering feeling of me making my own choices. But, making that, when you make that decision and you step over the line and you move with it, yes, it's scary. Yes, you have to be courageous and extremely vulnerable. And there are going to be people that will judge you. But as long as you're true to yourself and you just remind yourself that I'm not doing anything to hurt anybody, I'm doing this because it's the best for me, it's the best for the kids, or whatever situation you're in. And I remember leaving that financial security, and that was difficult, having nothing really. And it was a situation where he was quite bitter, so he wasn't really supporting me with the kids. I had nothing really, and I had to start from the beginning and build up. So I know what it feels like to be in that. If you're thinking financially, how on earth am I going to support myself? There's always support, always a way forward. Always, don't let that be the fear that stops you from being that woman, from stepping into your next phase of your life. I think being midlife is the most incredible part of your life. It really is. There's so much. We are so wise. You think about our experiences that we've been through. We're very wise, and we're quite confident as well. We start to, for me, it was, I'm not settling anymore. I'm not going to put up with the things that I have been putting up with. And that's where my new book comes from, which is Stop Settling, Start Living. And it's a full process to help people move through that moment of, hang on a minute, this is not what I want anymore. But how do I get from here to that place where I know I'm going to feel more fulfilled and satisfied in life? Whatever that means to you. It doesn't have to be a business. It's just, sometimes it's just happiness and joy. So it's moving you through that transition, helping to support you through that. But
sometimes it's just that little safe little space, whether it's a tiny
absolutely.
room where you can just close the door and think, this is my space. No one's going to come and say anything to me that's going to be mean or hurtful or interrupt my meditation or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yes.
You know that that's your little safe little cocoon space. With it, that's sometimes way more, well, to me, that was way more important than a fancy house and all the bells and whistles.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes.
Because even in that space, I didn't feel like I had a little cocoon space where I could go and be. And so for me, it was, I'd quite happily not, have, it's nice to have all the bells and whistles, but not in exchange for that feeling.
Oh, no. You can have that when you feel content with yourself and joyful and happy. But when you're in that with all the lovely material things around you, if you're not happy and content, then it really doesn't mean anything.
You can feel so lonely and so
Yeah,
unhappy in a beautiful space. And you look
absolutely.
around and you think,
Yeah,
how can I feel like I'm
yeah,
feeling when I'm in this? And
yeah.
then you realize that it's not the this that's important, it's the inside that's important. And
It
you could be
is.
almost anywhere as long as
You
that
can.
inside is
Yeah,
there. And, then obviously you build again and you build that
you
whatever
do.
that this looks like, your house, your
Yeah,
space looks like. But
yeah.
that's on your terms, the way you want to, so you can
Oh,
still have that
absolutely. That's
feeling
so
inside.
empowering, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember my first little cottage when I moved. It was so tiny, but it was so cute. And it was enough. It was enough. It was like, this is enough for me. I don't need anything else. I've got this space that belongs to me. And there's room for the children. And it was just, I could breathe again.
that's
Yeah.
that's the big thing. It's that
Oh,
that whole
yeah.
big, oh,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
put the bags down that you've been
That's
carrying about.
it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. But obviously, moving through a divorce and a break, a relationship breakdown, it is challenging. But there's always things, there's always support. I would say, find your support group, find your women, because
That's it.
they're going to cheer you on and support you, because you're not the only person that's been through this or going through change. Whatever change is for you, whatever it looks like, there's always support out there for you. So don't ever feel that you're alone in this, because you're not. And
Absolutely.
that's really
And the
important.
thing that I found is that they only appeared when the time was right. They
Yes.
weren't well, they weren't gathering beforehand.
No, no.
So you can't say, well, I
Yeah.
don't have a support network, so I can't take that step.
Yes.
Take that step, and somehow magically the support network just starts gathering around.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how, but it
Yeah. You
works.
become, I believe that you become more aware of opportunities, because your mind is focusing on the next step rather than where you were, but where you want to be and where you're going. So you start to notice more things. You
Mm,
become more aware. So your mind, picks things out for you when you're thinking, I've walked past that for the last 10 years and I've never noticed that. And you start to notice things that you're more aligned to as you're moving forward. And like you say, people do pop up and you'll think, that's a coincidence. Well, no, it's not really. It's there for you. It's always been there, but now you're ready for it. You weren't
yeah.
before, but now you are. And
And
it's,
I think your energy changes as well. So you
yeah,
generally, are looking or attracting the right kind of support at that right time, whereas beforehand you wouldn't have been ready
yes.
for that support.
Oh, no, 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 not at all. No. And sometimes you just need, when you're making those decisions and you're in that space, sometimes you just need to be with yourself, rather than being influenced by others in that moment, and really feel through, what does this mean for me and why is it important? And then once you've made them decisions, then the support will show up for you in the
Yeah,
right place. That's what my
absolutely.
experience was.
Yeah, because at some point there will be those people that have been close to you that don't really mean any harm, but they try and keep you in that safe space. So they'll
Yeah.
they'll try and give you advice based on keeping you from hurting in inverted commas, hurting yourself.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's from their perspective, not from you. So that's why take like you said,
Absolutely.
taking time for yourself
Yeah.
to kind of get to know the inside of you.
Yeah. And not only that, people fear that change. They fear, who are you going to become? Who's that friend, that sister, work colleague, whatever that is? Who are they going to become? Because I'm comfortable with you being where you are. And that's
Yeah.
scary for people. It's like, well, hang on a minute. What's that mean? Yeah. Is it necessary that so that it's their fears? And,
Yeah.
and there's others that are probably experiencing what you are and thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Well,
Wish I was
I was
brave.
one of those at one point as well, thinking, oh, if only I had the courage to do what she's just done. But
Yeah, absolutely.
again, if you're one of those people, don't beat yourself up now. Just
No.
draw from the courage that everybody else has
Yeah.
had, and when your time is right, step up and make that step.
Yeah,
Don't feel
absolutely.
forced into, oh well, I need to do this right now. Build yourself up behind the scenes, and when you're ready, then you'll
Yeah,
know that now is the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, because it takes time, and we know that it's not, you don't wake up. I mean, you do wake up because there's always a moment when you realise that's it. But that behind the scenes has taken you, it could have taken you years to get to that
Mm.
place where you're ready. And I truly believe there's always it's always at the right time for you, even if it feels like the wrong time, because it might be in the middle of something like I described, that kids were at school or taking exams, but it was the right time, even if it
Or you're
feels like
just
it's the wrong
about to
time.
go on your
Yeah.
family holiday or
Yeah,
something like that, and you
that's it. I'm done. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
do I
Um,
wait till I get back from this holiday, or do I tell them no? It's like that kind of,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
And again, there's
Yeah,
no right and wrong for that
there isn't.
scenario. You need
Absolutely
to feel
not.
into what feels right for you,
Absolutely.
and that's
Yeah,
it. And there is support out there. There's
yeah,
the likes of you, there's the likes of me, there's all
yeah,
sorts of people that you can come up with and speak to, or there's the other support, trying to think what they are. There's the free women's aid and all that. There's lots of charities
yes,
as well that provide
yeah,
support for people that might not be able to afford, you know, to
yeah,
pay someone for their time. But there's
yeah.
always there's support out there of people
There
that
is.
will listen without judgment. And I think that's the
Always,
important thing, is find those people that
always.
will listen, and you don't feel like they're going to try and problem solve
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, it's a safe space. They're holding that space for you. It's
Mm.
a really creative time as well. I always feel that when women are transitioning through sort of midlife into that unknown, it's a very creative time where you really are in control of what you create and flowing in that, what I call you'll probably be aware of the feminine energy, which is where we create everything. Then it's a beautiful time, and it's amazing what you can create, what you can come up with, what this change is going to do for you. So it's very exciting. So it's that scary sort of unknown fear sort of feeling, but yet there's always that thread of excitement that runs through you, where the passion is towards something that you feel that how different your life's going to be, and how you're in control of that now. You're going to write the next chapter. It's
And I
very,
think
very
that as
exciting.
women, we've got that innate gift of being able to create something,
Yes.
to create human beings within
Oh
ourselves,
my gosh,
somebody else. But
absolutely.
we can, and any situation, we're always able to create. If we allow
Yes.
ourselves, we can create the positive outcome for ourselves.
Yeah.
Might not always
Yeah.
seem like, when you're going
Yeah.
through it, that it's a positive thing, but when you look back, you can see
Yeah.
the positive that's come out of it.
Absolutely. And it's the self-doubts and the limited beliefs and all that negative talk, but we can move through that. There's always ways to deal with that,
Yeah,
what you're telling yourself. And just remember, it's just your subconscious mind loves to keep you safe. It doesn't want you to, be judged, to be ridiculed, to feel, upset, and so it wants to keep you safe. But that's not going to move you forward. That's not what's going to bring you to that place that you know is right for you.
absolutely.
So yeah. So you don't feel, just because you have these limited beliefs and this self-doubt and low self-esteem, that you can't build that up and move past that, because you can. You can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's get feeling that burning desire within yourself,
Oh
and
yeah.
utilizing that inside energy, and
Yeah.
stepping through, even if it's only a small step each day, it's just that
Hmm.
brings you that much closer to where you're
Yeah.
wanting to be. And if you're in an
Yeah.
environment where someone is bringing you down all the time, it's
Yes.
also about creating a space for yourself, even if it is just in your mind,
Hmm.
where you almost cancel out all the things that have been said to you. So if
Mm.
someone says to you, "Oh, you're stupid," or whatever the
Yeah.
words that
Yeah.
they might be, then you just reframe it in your own mind quietly, just to yourself, and just say, "I am intelligent. I'm bright. I'm capable."
Yeah.
Whatever the words that resonate for you. No
Yeah.
one needs to know you're doing that. You're doing it for yourself, and eventually, over time, that will help.
Oh, definitely. Because remember what your thoughts are. I mean, they say this: your thoughts are what you become. If you allow yourself to be that truth, whatever someone's saying to you, then the more likely you are to continue believing that and living. Because when we believe something, that's our actions. So like you say, change your narrative, change your perspectives, and you can use what I call truths, powerful truths. And, just because this person believes, well, I can't do that, because a lot of mine was, oh, you can't do that, you'll never be able to do it, whatever. And it was like, oh, I used to say to myself, well, just because he believes that to be true, that's not my truth. That's not my truth. It doesn't have to be my truth. So you can really start to play around with lovely words and create your own new truth, which is all part of what's in my book anyway. And it really helps you to build up that almost bank of self-worth and self-esteem and then you get to that place where you'll be able to just explode and step into, this is me now. I'm confident, and I've got this, self-esteem, and I truly believe that I'm worthy. And it's owning that worth, isn't it? It's like, yeah,
Absolutely.
I deserve this. Get to that place where you really feel with conviction, I deserve this. Life is precious, and we have to grab these opportunities.
100%. And not believe the words and opinions of others, because often it's based on their own insecurities and their own lack of self-worth that they try and
Always.
portray it onto you.
Yeah, always. Absolutely.
So it was so lovely having you on the show today, and
Thank
I will
you.
put the link to your book and all that in the show notes. So for anybody who would like to, get hold of one of those amazing copies, I do have one, but I must admit I haven't had a chance to read it yet. It only arrived 2 days ago. But yes, it
Lovely.
is on my bedside table upstairs, and
Lovely.
I look forward to having a read.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
As we wrap up another episode here at Life Begins at Midlife, we want to take a moment to extend a heartfelt thank you to our sponsor, Jackie Bourne, for Purpose Unleashed. Jackie's commitment to empowering individuals on their journey of self-discovery and transformation truly aligns with the spirit of our show. Whether you're navigating the challenges of midlife, seeking clarity on your next steps, or simply looking to live a more fulfilled life, Purpose Unleashed offers the guidance, tools, and support you need to turn your aspirations into reality. For those of you feeling stuck or at a crossroads, remember, it's never too late to redefine your path and embrace the life you've always dreamed of. Visit Purpose Unleashed website to discover how you can start your transformative journey today. Let Jackie be your guide to a more vibrant, purpose-driven life. You can find this link to the website in the show notes below. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with us. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to grow, to love, and to make a difference. Until next time, keep striving, keep dreaming, and keep listening.